I think it might be about that time to talk comics, crowdfunding, creators, whatever we can talk about. It's Explain Yourself. My name's Kevin Joseph. My co-host Will Allred is here. Will, how has your week been?
A good week. I've got nothing done after my work day because I've been playing the heck out of Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So it's been a good week.
So extremely productive for you. I know you and Zelda, so that's great. Oscar, it's great to meet you. We have Oscar Rosario in to talk about his Zoop crowdfunding project, A Never-Ending Adventure. It's great to meet you, Oscar. So
Yeah, thanks.
we're going to do one quick thing is it's like what brought you into the indie comic scene, and then we'll talk about all the other junk.
Yeah. No, thank you for having me. Nice to meet you guys. Uh, well, for my origin story is that I was a fan of comics for more than 10 years, and I've been reading. I'm from Peru. I'm here in Peru right now, and in 2010, I think it was the first time that we got like a local newspaper to start publishing some books. And I started reading. I fell in love with superheroes and with Marvel stuff. And it's been like a learned journey of loving comic books. And with the pass of time, I also started writing articles, reviews, opinions. I wanted to share. I got so many books read, like I had a lot of knowledge, and I wanted to share it with people because even I think in the US it's not so common for people to know about this stuff like so much. It's always like you have this like group of people. So here in Peru is even less common. So I was the guy that knew everything, the heroes, the superheroes, and that stuff, like the Marvel guy. So I wanted to share it with my friends, my family, and I started writing and in attending to conventions and started also learning how to write. I got this idea and it became clear to me that this was my passion and that I wanted to eventually become a comic book writer. And last year, I had this personal opportunity to go full time into this. I was working for a corporate job for 5 years, and I completely changed my path. And I'm full into comics, and I want to start creating and seeing what I can do.
You you
Nice.
you first started
Thank you.
reading comics in 2010, and in 2023, you're full-fledged doing this as your vocation.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is amazing.
Thank
It
you,
is.
thank you. Yeah,
That's
I
no,
mean,
totally awesome.
yeah.
thank you. Yeah, I'm really lucky. I'm really fortunate that I got this opportunity to pursue what I love, and so it's something that I'm really grateful. And now that I have this opportunity to start creating and doing everything that I wanted for comics, I'm taking full advantage of it and trying to do my best to get the books that I love out there.
Oh, I can't. All right. I
Nice.
cannot wait to get into this a little bit more. I think, Will, we talked
Well,
about this. Oh, yes, Will, go ahead.
yeah. I do have one very important question. You're a Marvel guy, so who's your favorite Marvel hero?
It's Captain America.
Okay. All
Yeah.
Nice.
right. All right.
Yeah, it's like I'm not from the US, so you know that the Captain America, it's not because of the like the national sentiment, but I think it's like a universal character, and I loved it. I read a lot of Avengers, and he was like team leader back in the 2010s, and I love that. I love the qualities that he shows, and it's like a role model for me. So I love the character, and yeah, it was like it's my favorite, and that hasn't changed in many years.
Oh, I think Captain
Nice.
America is what we as Americans think we'd like to be. And I
Yeah.
think that's a wonderful thing. We would like to be this, and I'm not going to say we are or we are not, but I'm
Mm.
certainly sure that we don't always live up to Steve Rogers' uh,
Ideals.
ideals, and
Yeah.
that's when he puts a shield down and puts on a different outfit, and So, um, one thing, putting the something down, we lost one of the most consequential comic book artists in history this week. John Romita Sr. put his pencil down, and I just wanted to take one moment before we get into it to acknowledge the passing of probably one of the 10 most influential creators in comic book history. Um, Yeah, I saw Todd McFarlane, not a person who is shy about saying that he's pretty good at something, speak about John Romita Sr. as the quintessential greatest Spider-Man artist of all time. And no disrespect to Steve Ditko, who created it.
Hmm.
But yeah, what John Romita did on those pages, I mean, literally, we might have messed it up by fridging people for the rest of all of our careers, but Gwen Stacy dying through that page, and
Yeah.
every single writer since then is like, "Oh my God, someone important has to die for my hero," and we might have taken it too far, but that's not John Romita Sr.'s fault. Have you run across John Romita Sr.'s work, Oscar? Have you gone back as far?
Yeah, no, not really. I think that I got into comics like a bit later, so I'm not that young. Well, I'm not that old either, but I'm not that young to have had like influence from him. And it's also because here in Peru we got comics that were like newer from 2000s, 2010s.
Right.
But then when I started learning and discovering about all the important people in comics, the people that shape the industry, I uh, like certainly know the impact that he had. And yeah, it was really sad because I know that there's a lot of people that grew up and have a lot like stories of even meeting him or being inspired by him, and creators that have all over social media saying that he was the inspiration. So I think about myself and the creators that inspire me, and thinking that something happened to them would definitely be shocking and sad. And I know that he was one of the people that without him we are not here today. So that's
Absolutely.
also really cool to
Well,
to
and
see. And
his reach is so profoundly large because he was art director and
Mhm.
he worked in the bullpen, and all those artists would come through the bullpen and he would teach them and show them. I mean, so he's such an important figure, and he's certainly going to be missed.
And Jimmy Palmiotti had an amazing story about him on Twitter this week. And I actually ran into him. I was at Jim Henley's Universe in New York City, just going to check and see what comics were out. This was probably 2001, 2002. And there was a sign on the door that said John Romita Jr., his son, is going for a world record at Planet Hollywood. He was going to draw Spider-Man's mask the most times any person has ever done it in a row, which is sort of like, if you want to get a world record, what you need to do is invent something no one else has ever tried. But so I guess John Romita Jr. And they were raising money for charity. A young family member had some medical issues that they wanted to raise money for, and he was going to be at Planet Hollywood for I think like 48 hours just drawing Spider-Man, and then other artists would come at times and do other commissions to raise money. And I was like, well, that's cool. One of my buddies, my roommate's birthday was coming up. He loves Spider-Man, and one of my other best friends, John Romita Jr., was his favorite artist. So I was like, I'll go over there and I'll grab 2 commissions. They were $25 a piece. It was like a steal to get the artwork because you know what they're trying to get a bunch of people there. So I went through once, and John Romita Jr., super cool, real nice, kind of a big personality, John Romita Jr.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the artist that was to his right drawing when I went through the one time, and you had to get back in line and wait another 45 minutes or an hour. So cool, did it. And I come in, and there's this older gentleman sitting there, and he's got his pencil and he's drawn Wolverine. And I don't know if it was pointed out to me or told. I certainly wouldn't have known him by face. I'm watching John Romita Jr. draw Spider-Man, and his father, John Romita Sr., draw a Wolverine, a Logan commission. And, you know, we're just talking a little bit back and forth. And like I said, John Romita Jr. has this big bombastic personality. He'd be really great at a party. And I just had this very genteel, kind, calm feeling from John Romita Sr. in 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know the man. And I just thought,
Yeah.
wow, he seems like John Romita Jr. I really want to go have shots with him. John Romita Sr., I think I'd kind of want to sit out in a park and just listen to the wind blow with him. And when I read the stories of who the man really was, I really felt like that kindness and gentleness that I perceived seemed to be the real man. Oh, and also he's one of the greatest artists to have ever lived, So
Yep.
Rest in peace, Mr. Romita. We love you. We appreciate everything you did and continue to do for comics. So all we need, Oscar, is for you to leave a legacy the size of John Romita Sr. So, can you promise that?
Yeah, I'll try my best. Yeah.
All right, we got Shani in the house. The show can start. So let's get into a little bit of a never-ending adventure. Now, is this your first comic that you've released, or have you had some other books out?
Yeah, this is the first one. I did a comic book last year. It was a 5-page short story. Like, it was used to like a promotional comic book for my Substack page. So it was something small. It wasn't like something commercial, but it taught me how to make a comic book. I followed everything. I hired an editor. I worked with an artist, and every step of the way to creating the product. And right now I'm part of an anthology from the Fractured Realms anthology from Limit Break Comics in Ireland. But this is the first book, like a complete book that I'm publishing on my own. So yeah, this is like my debut work, like a full story that has my own imprint on it.
Will and I always give the advice to not do what we've done, and you have not done what we did, and we are so happy to hear it. Will and I started out thinking that we had to do a 42 to 70 issue series to be taken seriously, and you did the smart thing. You did a 5-page short, and now you're doing a one-shot. You're finishing things, and you're putting it out. That's amazing. So who gave you that advice, or did that just come naturally?
No, I've talked to many people, to creators. I go to conventions and talk to people, and I don't remember exactly who gave me that advice, but yeah, my idea behind making this story like a one shot is to show that I can do a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And also for the campaign, so people can support it and don't have to wait for issue 2. And because I'm a new creator, maybe they think, oh, he's going to do like issue 1, and maybe issue 2 is in 1 year, and issue 3, and who knows, right? So yeah, I think that I don't remember exactly whose advice it was, but it's something that I have like in my head. There's a lot of advice that I've been receiving over the past couple or 3 years. And it's something that I've managed to learn while trying to get into this. And that's the cool part, because when I say that I made the career change and I went into comics, people may assume that I was like blinded and I was like full on going with passionate feelings and going to do whatever I wanted. But I think it was a planned decision. It was something that I meditated a lot. And I'm trying to speak with many people to do things right and try to avoid making mistakes that were already made by other creators. Try to learn from the past, and and so far it's good. It's I think it's something that is working for me, because I'm someone who likes to be organized. I don't like taking many risks. So even though this was a big risky decision, I had a solid base of knowledge and contacts, and even a financial backup. So I had this possibility to chase this dream.
No, that's gorgeous.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Where did the premise to? Oh, go ahead, Will.
So it's. Are you planning, or I haven't read the entire page yet. Are you planning to release it in multiple languages? I mean, I obviously, English is how it's listed, I think, on Zoop now. But do you plan to release it also in in Spanish or even any other languages?
Yeah, I think that what I want to share with using this question is that this campaign is going to be like a US based campaign. Even though I'm from Peru, I'm working with an editor that's in the US. So for every intent and purposes, this is a US campaign. The book is in
Gotcha.
English and it's going to work as a US book. But the reality is that I'm someone from Peru, and I want to also share that. And I talked to an influencer here in Peru yesterday, and he asked the same question: are you going to release it in Spanish? And I wanted to say yes, but right now I'm doing it in English because I need to get the book funded. I need to finish the
Hmm.
book, and once the book
Yep.
is finished, I will probably do a Spanish version. And the positive is that my first language is Spanish, so there's no need for translation. I can do it myself.
Hmm.
And hopefully in the future, when I start publishing in the US, I can also publish it in Spanish. I know that DC has published some books in English and Spanish, so it's exciting for me. It's really exciting knowing that maybe someday I can do a book in Spanish, and it will have sales in the US. But right now, as I want to break into the industry, into the American industry, I know that is the
Hmm.
big one. So everything is in English, and I'm trying my best to share my ideas and everything in English so I can reach the correct audience.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Nice.
So where did this story first pop into your head? Actually,
Um,
wait, we haven't said what this story is. So tell us
Yeah.
what this story is, and then where did it first pop into your head?
yeah, so this is a story that, well, it's about an aspiring creator. It's a very personal story, so you will see some resemblance with my own story that I told you. So it's an aspiring creator that just made a career change, but is now dealing with the consequence of his own actions. And I mean this in a way that when you go into what makes you happy, they always say, "Oh, you're going if you are doing something that makes you happy, you're not going to work a day in your life. You're going to be successful and all that beautiful stuff." But the reality is that there's something else, there's another issues, fears, and insecurities that arise when
Mhm.
you take this leap of faith. Uh, and I wanted to show this in a story, combining elements of fun, of adventure, of action that I loved in superhero comics, the goofiness, the silly jokes, and that stuff that's make it fun. But I also included the human side that's about mental health, how to deal with this fear of disappointing others, insecurities. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe if you fail in this and you left your other job, then what's next for you? So there's a lot of anxiety in doing this new job, even though it's your passion, even though it's the thing you love. I love comics, but
Mhm.
here it's a different world, and it's scary.
Yeah.
So this is the story of someone that is going through this journey, but I've told them in a way that it's funny, that it contains a lot of action, a lot of fights against monsters, because I wanted to make it fun, and I wanted to
Mhm.
show that this is a book that I put everything of me into it. So it has the human side, the more like thought provoking side, but at the same time it has the action, it has fights, it has monsters, and everything that I loved about comics. So yeah, at its core, this is the quest of an aspiring creator looking for an idea.
And this is your
Nice.
first comic out there in full, um, because you felt it was the best one to make a mark with, or you just felt like it was formed beginning, middle, and end more than your other ideas?
No, I think it was, well, I was thinking about like what is going to be my big debut. And I think that this is something that really spoke to me. It's a way of showing myself, like, as a creator, people don't know me, and
Mhm.
I'm like coming in with a campaign and everything, and not starting like small. Maybe I'm showing myself, and I'm trying to get to people. So this story felt very personal. I put everything that I love about comics and the possibility of comics in this story. So I like the idea of having this be my debut issue because it will show people who I am and what I want to bring to the industry, what I want to bring to the table as a new creator. And I think it was the best one. I think the ideas came really easily. I was just writing. I was being myself, and I love that because I think that this is my most personal work. I think I'm putting my soul into it, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that again uh, in the future, like so
Mhm.
easily. And there was also this other advice that said that if you have a story that you want to tell and you think it's good, don't wait until later. You just put it
Yeah.
out there, go with it, and don't wait like, oh, I'm going to do my like my debut work is going to be like not so good, but maybe my next work is going to be like a nicer winning comic book, and I'm
Mhm.
hoping to that. Like, so I don't want to peak so early. But for me, it was like, if this is my peak, then so be it. I think that this is the story I want to share. This is the story that will show people who I am, and hopefully they will like it. Hopefully they will find something in there that will inspire them. Will they feel represented by it. So yeah, I think
Mhm.
that this is the story that I wanted to put on the shelves.
My pithy take to that is, the great thing about being a one hit wonder is you've had one hit.
Yeah.
So there's no reason not to try it. But the more serious one, like Will, I like to joke with Will, and he knows this, is it always comes back to Neil Gaiman. Like what he has said kind of like goes through me, and I just kind of like echo it out because he's smart and I'm not. But he said he got the idea to do the Graveyard Book when his son was like 4 years old, and he said, I'm not ready to write that. I'm just not good enough writer yet. And at 8 years, when his son was 8 years old, he thought, I should probably do the Graveyard Book, but I'm not good enough to write that yet. I'll wait until I'm good enough. And he said, 12 years later, I looked at my son, who was 20 going on 21, and I said, I'm never going to be good enough to write this book, so I might as well start right now. Because don't wait until you're good enough, because you never will be. Just
Yeah.
do that thing that feels right now. And I when you said that, I was like, good, you're not being Neil Gaiman. He's smart, but he could have the Graveyard Book out 12, 15 years earlier. So of course, then
no, I
we
think
wouldn't have
it's
had other stuff.
yeah. Well, that's also true. I think that it's important that you just do it. And I was, and this is for everything in life, not only for your work, but for everything. I was waiting, like you said, maybe I would need to study something. I need to study at the university, like creative writing. Maybe I need to wait until I'm established in the US or in Canada, because that's my plan. I want to work. I want to be there so I can work there. So maybe I have to wait until I move there. Maybe I have to wait until I have like my kids and my family, and we're established and we have a home and we have security, and then I'll start writing a comic. But at the end of the day, the best thing is to just start writing, because that passion that you have, when you start thinking about doing it seriously and you have the passion and you start writing the pages and learning stuff and being like really excited about it, that's the best time to just do it. And it's the reason why I'm also excited of finishing this book and having it ready and for people to read it, because I want to know if I'm good or if I'm bad. So, but that's up to them, and that's up to the community to decide. But right now, for me, I'm doing my best. I've talked to people; they love the idea, they love my work. The people that have read the script, they are really excited as I am. So that's the best you can do, because even if you study and everything, and then they tell you are bad, then what happened? Then your work gets destroyed, because like, I was preparing for this. This was supposed to be my break. It was supposed to be good, and maybe your book is a failure, and that's really sad. So I think the best is like doing it, just creating a book, and if you need to get better, there's always second chance, a third book, and you can you can be like constantly putting out work, and then something is going to pop. If you're good, if you are passionate, if you're showing your true colors to people, the audience will find you and they will like you what you're doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the best thing you can do is start.
No, absolutely.
and-
And go ahead, Will.
And I would say too that, nothing is ever really a failure as long as you learn something from it, right?
Yeah.
It's so, just and you're absolutely right. Just do it and keep doing it. How do you get into comics? Well, you just keep making comics, right? I mean,
Yeah, no, and there's also this like pressures of saying, are you a comic book writer if you have not been published by a major publisher? Are you a comic book writer if no one has read your work? But you're a comic book writer the moment you start writing a comic book, and that's all you need. So
Mhm.
if you start writing, then you are a writer, and there's a moment that someone will notice you. So if you tell us different story, like your own story, because there's not two people that are the same. If you tell your own story, if you put in your own words with your own education and experiences, someone will find it and say, oh, this is cool, and maybe some more people will start reading it. So that's the idea.
Yeah, and Josh Dahl, who did a comic called Rapid City about 10 years ago, he's popped out. I'm hoping he's going to come back in and finish that series. But he said once, I thought it was so brilliant the way he put it together. He said, people on the trajectory say, I want to be a writer. And then they say, I am writing. And then eventually they say, I'm a writer. And we all should realize that the moment, like you said, that you're writing a comic script, you are a writer. But we all say, I want to be a writer.
Yeah.
And then we get a little more.
I'm an aspiring writer.
Yeah, I'm an aspiring writer. I'm trying to be this thing. And then when we get just a little more confidence, we say, well, I am writing. And then after a while, you're like you realize, oh wait, no, I am a writer. I wrote something. It, like you said, it might suck, but you're still a writer if the work isn't great. Because guess what? Nobody's always good. Somebody's going to put some stickers out there,
Even Neil Gaiman.
I haven't found them yet, but I'm sure they exist. Will's out here with some fighting words, but no, I guarantee you, Neil Gaiman would say some of his stuff stinks. And,
possibly.
But no, that's great. So I wanted to read because I really liked your on your preview page on Zoop, your story. So I just wanted to read it in case someone's listening to. A Never-Ending Adventure is a one-shot of Mark Bear, a young Latino struggling to keep his head straight. A former corporate worker turned comic book writer. You're right, this does sound familiar. Mark needs to think of a winning idea to make a living from his passion. But his undiagnosed ADHD disperses his thoughts and ideas, and the modern culture of fast stimuli doesn't help. Therefore, we will follow a day of his life trying to accomplish his goals by having great adventures, which include trips to his past and foreign lands. Will he be able to write a comic book by the last page? I thought that was just a brilliant one paragraph lead in. I read it to Will. I'm like, oh, I'm really cool. I'm really into this concept. So
thank you.
So if you could pull up the page really quick, I'd love for you to kind of show us some of the artwork and some of things that go go with us.
Yeah, and talk about the rest of the team. That's on the book with you.
Yeah, I will share my my screen.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
There we are.
And there it is. Awesome.
Yeah. So this is the cover of the book, and the important part here is that we have a big team. We have 4 artists working for this book, and what I wanted to accomplish with that is that, as you read in the description, this is someone that's struggling with mental dispersion, with what he thinks is ADHD. So he gets these thoughts, and then he gets like a notification from his phone, or someone calls him, or he gets distracted with something in the table, something that I've experienced, and I've seen that there's other people experiencing it, that you get these distractions, and then you are talking like in some way you're talking about something, and then you start talking about something completely different, and you go in that, and you are now in like a different world. So to show this, I had this like the main story of Mark, but there are some things that happen, and he gets distracted and start telling you different stories. And when this happens, the art style changes in the comic book. So that's why we have many artists. There's like these side stories where he starts thinking about something and gets carried away with that thought and talks about something that was completely different. But in the end, it's like he's having these different thoughts, but he's the same person. You can see that these are the same characters. It's not like a backup story or another story. They are stories within his own head. So what you think will show what you want to achieve. So these thoughts aren't random. These stories may seem like he's going nowhere, but in reality, these stories have something to do with what's going to happen in the book and with his life. Because when you think about something, maybe you're getting distracted, but it's because you're worried about something, or it's because you're thinking about something else that you need to do like in the future, or you want something. So these are stories that I changed the art style, but in a way that you know that this is the same person, and it's not like he just jump or we just jump as a reader and we are in a completely different world. So now and that's important because you're going to see the pages and the art style is going to change. So
Right.
I wanted to tell you that it's going to be explained in the book, but here it's like it's going to jump out of nowhere.
Yeah,
So
of course.
yeah, and I wanted to have pages from each artist that is going to participate in the book, so you can get a taste of each of these side stories and their art styles, because I think that everyone working here is so talented. I was fortunate enough to work with 4 artists from different countries in the world, and I learned a lot from them. And they took these side stories that I gave them. They loved the concept. It was like a perfect match between the side story that I thought of and their styles. And yeah, it all came together.
Did
And
you
I
find the
have to
artist
say,
or did your editor?
It was it both, because we were we had the script ready, and we started talking and searching in social media. And I remember saying, for example, oh, you think this art style, this artist is a good fit for this story. I remember he sometimes said, yeah, this is cool. And then also remember that there was like this artist that we wanted for one of the side stories, and then we changed that, and now the artist is in another one of the stories that fits their styles in a better way. So it was a conversation with my editor, and talking about like, we have these artists, check their styles. Is it good? Is it good for this story? Maybe for the other story? And yeah, that matching eventually came together, and it was great. And each artist, when I gave them the story, I told them, hey, can you help me with these pages, and this is going to happen, and they told me, oh, that's perfect. It's like it's so fitting for what I'm working on, for what I want to share in comics, for my art. And yeah, I think that it was a combined effort with me and Devin, the editor.
I have to say that, oftentimes when you're doing indie comics, getting 20 pages, 22 pages, 24 pages from an individual artist can be difficult. So the fact that you made different artists a feature instead of a bug is brilliant. It's brilliant. I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for me, it's the experience of working with big teams. I think that's something that I love from my previous job, was like managing teams and talking to many people. I think that when you start creating, it can get lonely, even because you're like writing the script, you're all alone. Then the good thing in comics is that you have an editor and a team behind the book. But I wanted to work with many artists. I wanted to learn as much as I could. I wanted to mix art styles and put them all together into a comic book, and for it to make sense, because in the end of the day, I could hire like 20 artists, and each one that's one page. But if it
Mhm.
doesn't make sense within the story, it's like you're just doing it because you want to work with these artists. But I wanted to, so I found a way to put it in the book and for it to make sense, for it to add something to the story, which was really important to me. And yeah, that's something that I always like having many artists and combine their art styles. And yeah, this opportunity to work with a big team.
Mhm.
Mhm.
S- So if you could kind of go down the page and show us the pages and then introduce us to the artists, and do all of your artists do their own coloring, or do you have a colorist that does the book?
Yeah, each one of them does their own coloring, and
Oh
I think
wow.
that's really cool. That's They are super talented, and that's also cool because it makes their style like complete. You can see
Mhm.
that this artist is like completely there. It's everything from them, and the colors influence a lot of the page. So
Yeah.
it was cool. It was cool, and they they um, they told me that like they can deliver the completed page. So I didn't find like a colorist or anything. That was like part of their own style, and it adds a lot. The color, you will see like the difference in styles, the difference. Without the colors, maybe it wouldn't be as obvious and as impressive.
True.
So here is this page one of the book. This is Vinicius Carreiro from Brazil. He's the artist that is doing like the main story. This is like Mar, this is his dog, and you can see that this style is more like the action style. It has a lot of panels. It's moving fast. It's really bright. So I love this page. I love his style. Like he has a he likes doing action superheroes, and he has like all this background doing that type of books. So here it's like he went all in with the action.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So but you can see the dialogue, like this is like funny, like he's this is a person that is being himself, which is something that's cool because you see that this is like a really a lighter tone. This is like fun and like I mentioned, like the superhero, but at the same time is someone that you will see, and for what I've told you, you know that he's struggling with stuff. And there's a lot of times where we struggle with things and we just put a like smile on our faces and we start cracking jokes and being like the clown, right? But the
Yeah.
clown is you. There's always like something wrong with the clown because they are trying to project something, and but you know that this person has a lot of anxiety and is trying to like show that he's cool and he's
Come on,
doing this
man. This is my
fighting.
show. You don't have to call me out that hard.
Yeah, so here for example he grabs a lightsaber. And what I loved about the book is that I got to play with a lot of the tools of other characters. Like these are fun Easter eggs that I wanted to put there because this person is someone that is passionate about comic books, so he knows a lot of references. He's going to start making a lot of comments that I think people in the community, people that read a lot of comic books, are going to enjoy. And yeah, that's a cool part. Here, this is
It's
page
it's
two.
it's
Yeah.
great you talk about how you want to have a fun comic book, and on page one you have a conjoined twin octopus attack, a talking dog, and a laser sword. I'm saying a specific word just so nobody gets sued. And like on page one, like that is just fu fun. And like fu, we're going to have fun. So that's a great hook.
Yeah, it's like we start strong here. Yeah, here it's like more fighting. This the fight continues, and this is all fighting and posing and this like cool panel of just a kick and people kicking butt. So it is the fun, is the coloring, and this like page two is the start of a book. This is how the story begins. But here, for example, this page, you see that the tone is completely different.
Hmm.
This is like
Mhm.
the first side story. This is by Terry Suska from Italy. And here it's like Mark got a message from his girlfriend, and yeah, he's telling you that's a new character. And let me tell you about her. And now he's talking about something that completely different. This he wasn't planning on telling you this, but he got a message and he got distracted. And because he got distracted, the style changed. This is a more medieval style. This is like she's a fairy. This is an ogre. This is like a medieval town. Even the lettering is like a scroll, and the colors are different. And you see this, and you can see. Yeah.
Do you have a consistent letterer throughout the entire book, or does each story lettered by a different letterer?
The letter here is Vinicius from the previous pages. The artist that letters her own work is coming later, but yeah, this is Vinicius, and I think it's cool because he did this like this these details with the rocks and the stars, and it was cool, because if I told you that the artist lettered this, you may believe that that's true. He even though he didn't do that.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. He caught this style and added the letters with the scrolls and the colors and like the small stone like winking, and it's so much fun, and it was perfect with the art. The art is just amazing for this medieval story. It's actually an allegory for immigration. So we are going to see like this beautiful land that was destroyed by someone that came with empty promises, and yeah, that's what happened here in Latin America. So this is a way that I like everything in this book is like I'm putting human stories, but in fun ways that remind me of comic books. Because if this were like everything human, I can do that, and I think I will do that in the future, like tell human stories that don't have any fantasy and that. But as I mentioned, this is a personal book, and I wanted to put everything that I loved, and it was like I had this idea of putting this like a medieval stuff, and I didn't hold back. I wasn't planning like, oh, but this makes sense in the context, so maybe this can be told in a human story. It's the same, but I wanted to have creatures. I wanted to have like fairies. I wanted to have a castle. So I put that, and I think that it works because you can see that this is a completely different tone of the first pages, like the action and everything.
And it's so smart because editing shouldn't take place when you're first writing. Editing should take place after it. If you want castle and fairies in it, you should write it. And then, wake up, sober up, look at it and be like, oh, wait, my castles and fairies don't fit here, and take them out. Or, yeah, they do. They do fit. So it's so great that you didn't constrain yourself on your first draft, and you let yourself go crazy, and then don't hold yourself back. Edit later. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and I think that, as I mentioned, in the end of the day, this all works, because you will see that these stories are told this way for a reason, and everything is happening here for a reason that is going to impact the character later. As I mentioned, and we all know, because we all think that if you're thinking about something, it's troubling. It's in there. It's in the back in your head. It's saying something. So if he's telling you this story, it's because of something. It's because something is going to happen, and he has that in his brain. So it's important. And this is like the second side story.
Oh, geez, yes. I definitely see a different art change. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, this is by Mary Landro from Canada. She did the lettering here.
Okay, guys, if you're listening to the podcast, you got to go to the YouTube page and look at this page. This is amazing.
Yeah, this is like
the other stuff was cool, but this is like a different level of.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different story. She's focused on doing dark fantasy and gritty stuff, like dark stuff, and this is like they are in a different world. They are in a world that it's comprised of many worlds. So here you can see like a dragon. Here's the forest. This is like at the surface of this planet, the ocean. You can see the space, and it's very detailed. I wanted to do this shot. I wanted to show like this is something that is like he's traveling, he's knowing this place, and it's important. It's like it's detailed for a reason. But you can see, and something that someone else pointed out, that that this guy is Mark, and that this dog is the same dog that was in the previous pages. So no
Right.
one
Of
is
course.
going to jump here and think, oh, is this another character? Is this like another
Yeah.
dog? So
Mhm.
and that's
Right.
what I loved about how everyone did their own pages, but we had like the design of Mark, and they nail it, and you can see that this is the same character. I don't think that, hopefully no one will think that we just changed to another character.
No,
And even
no,
so, you have like the
no.
dialogue is,
Even out of
yeah.
context, you can tell.
Yeah, exactly,
Yep.
because the dialogue is
Uh-huh.
moving forward, so it's the same person talking about what happened next, right? So
Mhm.
here they were swallowed by the surprise tech, and now they are here, like in a different world. So
Mhm.
yeah, this is with creators. This is a tavern. It has a completely different style from before. This is not medieval, and the art changes, so you see that he's
You had
traveling.
a Brazilian artist first, an Italian artist second. Where's this artist from?
She's from Canada.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
cool.
Yeah, and this is like the third and last side story.
Well, this looks
This-
exactly like the last page.
Yeah, this is from Amalas Rosa from Germany, and when we saw her style, we knew that she was perfect for doing a trip to memory lane. This is something that is human. This is like a neighborhood. Um, she does stories that are between real people with real life problems, and as he's going back to his own memory, his childhood, this is like as human as it gets. And here you see that first it was like medieval, and then it was like dark fantasy, but here it could be like a book about him, and well, besides the talking head
Yeah.
that's floating in there.
A floating talking dog head does bring it a little bit into the comic realm.
Yeah, but here it's like we have a lot of dialogue. He's talking about even capitalism and the stuff of ideas and what makes an idea and why he's traveling to see his past self, talk to like his him as a child.
What's
So
incredibly interesting about this page and her artwork, and I doubt you'll have this answer. It really looks, especially in the coloring, like Mobius, except with a true sense of architecture. The buildings look like real buildings, not the crazy space age Mobius
yeah.
buildings, but the color work and it's as if Mobius drew real buildings, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It has a really European.
Yeah,
look
I've been told
to the
that
page.
before. Like you can see the European style here, and it's cool because she's from Europe.
Will's
so-
not super great with geography, so he doesn't really know where Germany is. We're gonna work on that with him. We've been trying.
Yeah. So this you can see the difference in ours, and here it's like it is another page from Vinicius. We are back to the fighting. We're back to the comic book stuff and where he excels. And here is a fun Easter egg that, well, I told you who my favorite hero is, so I had to include something like this. So yeah, this is fighting. This is like a creator. This is a big black ball of energy, and yeah, this is back to the fighting, to the comic book stuff. This is a word, someone or creator that I thought I call him the void. So it's like the representation of nothing, of having an empty mind, of having no ideas, of just nothing, like mindless scrolling TikTok for hours, nothing, like the opposite of creation.
So you're newer to comics, and Captain America is your favorite character. Do you know why his shield is round?
I think I know the story, but I have to like do some memory. And with the pressure of answering, I don't think I can do that.
Basically, they created this character, Captain America. They gave him a very regular shield, and he went out there, and somewhere after issue 1, somebody came to him and said, there's already a character named the Shield. With the shield, you're going to get sued. The next issue, they drew the shield circular, so they didn't get sued. And then I think it was Kurt. Was it Kirby on Captain America?
Yeah.
Simon and Kirby. Yep.
And he realized, well, if it was circular, he could throw it and it could bounce, and all these amazing things that Captain America can do with his shield came into being only because they didn't want to be sued for having a regular shield. So it's like that beautiful accident of doing something just because you had to, and then coming up with all these amazing creative ways to use the shield.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I think, well, here I'm not sure, but I think that it was Stan who proposed like throwing the shield. I think like he did a story that was like a text. It wasn't even a comic book. Like it was like a text type of story where Captain America threw the shield. I think I have that like in the back of my head.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think there's Stan was a great showman, and so a lot of people kind of think that's all he was. I mean, if you read those old Stan comics, there's a reason his comics jump off the page. He's creative and he's fun. And yes, he took a lot of credit for a lot of artists' work, but also those artists' work are often the best when they're working with Stan as well. So, I don't ever want to take anything away from anybody who built this, who built the ground that we're standing on.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So those are the preview pages I had for the book, and I think it gives the readers an idea of everything they are getting into. As you saw, we had fights, but we also had these pages where he just talks and thinks and shares ideas, and this is perfect for showing this book and showing like if you want to read the book because you want to see fights and you want to see someone punch this guy, and then
you get
the book. Yeah, you will probably get it, and that's cool. If you want to see someone struggling with his own mental health and trying to pursue his passion via traveling to his own past and like this introspective journey into who he is and what he wants to do, you have that too. So
that's awesome.
That's cool. And this is like exactly what makes me a creator, what makes me a writer, and I wanted to put all of that. And here in the preview pages you have like a perfect glimpse of what you're going to get, but be sure that there's going to be a lot of surprises. It's going to be really deep. We're getting into this character. You're going to learn a lot about who Mark is, and it's going to be a cool journey. And I think it's awesome to have this question: is he going to write a comic by the end of the comic? Yeah, that's the main thing. So here you can see he's fighting like a big monster, but this guy is a creator. This guy just wants to write a comic book.
Well, I've got a cool compliment to all of your artists. I had got the screen up larger so I can see it because my eyes are getting old and bad. Shawnee put in a comment during your talk, and I don't know. I literally can't tell you which artist she's complimenting because she just said those colors are fantastic. And I honestly feel like that could be a compliment that is exactly true for all four of your artists. The colors of all four were gorgeous,
Awesome.
I mean, you don't bring up Mobius often with an artist as an insult. The bird with your Canadian artist and the solar system was incredible. I mean, the octopi, or is it an octopus if there's one with two heads? I'm not sure. Like the colors pop super great on the Void page, and then I'm kind of missing one, but the colors on that were awesome too. So I don't know who she's complimenting, and that's a compliment to the entire book.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really proud of them. I knew that they were super talented, but seeing the work and seeing like each page, the colors brings the life to the page and helps you see like the difference between a style, but also how wonderful each of their styles are.
Okay, I've got the answer. She says, I said it for the first page shown, but my statement can and does apply
Thank
to
you.
them all. Stellar artwork all around.
Thank you. Yeah. They are pros at what they are doing, and I'm happy to have worked with them in my first book. Last when I made my 5-page story, I also worked with an artist that was really cool. I think that there's a lot of artists out there like that. Maybe someone needs to shine a light on their work. Hopefully, that's me if I get enough people there. But I'm loving this. I'm loving this opportunity of working with such talented people, and I'm just starting. So that's awesome.
No, it's great.
Nice.
It's exciting. I don't know. So to tell everybody a little backstage stuff. I don't know about anywhere else. I think probably this is true. Florida, it was 83 degrees Fahrenheit at 8:30 and it felt like 94 at 8:30 at night. So
Wow.
I had my AC pumping way late, and Will said, "Kevin, turn your AC off and I'll go through it." So I need to ask a question. Did you tell him about the Explain Yourself bump?
No, I didn't get a chance. We had to go
Okay.
on quick. So
Okay, so this is super important. We're gonna explain to you, it's Explain Yourself. We're gonna explain ourselves.
Yeah.
There's something we call the Explain Yourself bump, and what that is from the beginning of the show until the end of your crowdfunding campaign, we take credit for every single backer and every single dollar that comes to your project. We don't ask for a percentage, right? We don't ask for a percentage, but we take credit for it.
We just take credit. Yeah.
This is your first project ever. I'm taking credit for your entire comic career. Well, it's fair, right?
Sounds reasonable to me.
So in 20 or 30 years, when Oscar's the Neil Gaiman or the John Romita Sr., and everyone is talking about you, Will and I are just going to be sitting back on. Yep, we did that. Explain yourself.
No, yeah, I'm excited for that, and yeah, rest assured that I won't forget about the people that give me these opportunities to show myself, to talk about my craft, and to talk to me, because as I said, I'm just starting, but I've got the opportunity to work with such talented artists, and also members from the community as yourself, as other people that I've met in social that have helped me, that tell me like, oh, come here, we can talk about it, I can promote you, I can help you, I can share it, and it's really cool, and it feels awesome to join a community that it's so passionate, and each one of us wants to see everyone succeed.
Mhm.
So I love that, and yeah, I have like a place where I'm writing down each of my interviews, just because it's like I'm so proud of being getting this. Like one of the experiences of being a creator after writing and creating the book is promoting it and showing yourself and letting people know you, because sometimes the book is really good but you don't have the exposure, and it often gets like forgotten. So I'm really excited for people to know about this, and I'm really thankful for people giving me the opportunity to talk with them, and I'm having a blast. So yes, I'm just like having fun. I'm enjoying my time here.
That's awesome. And, okay, so Dave says, well, I just backed, and because I just now saw it on the show. So
Thank
one
you.
backer,
Thank you so much.
you can fairly take credit for.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
all you guys.
yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, fairly, we usually can take credit for 3, 4, 5, but we do unfairly take credit for everything. And you know what? That's you don't have to pay for a ticket to go on this ride, but that is what Will and I we force people to accept. But
but and I think in all seriousness, I think that it's something like it's fair. It's at least it's like you can be proud of this, because you are having all of these creators here and they are sharing their work. And as you said, if I have the luck and with the talent and putting work and I get big, I will say this is because of you guys, of people on socials that have given me these opportunities to be myself, to show my work. And yeah, I think that everything like these opportunities, like talking to someone, answering a DM, and retweeting something, it builds on the career, especially right now that we live in a time that you can do a campaign, you can self-publish like 2 3 successful campaigns, and then probably a publisher, like a small indie publisher, is going to call you, and then you start growing your career. So it's directly, it's like you started on self-publish, you they helped you boost your campaign, and your campaign is successful, and then thanks to that you get something bigger. So I think that the whole marketing, the whole talking to people, it's super important for getting out there, especially as newer creators. And for me, it's like I'm from another country, so getting in there was really hard, like being physically there. So these opportunities to talk, to connect with people in social media, they are priceless. So yeah, thank you guys for having me and for helping all of us aspiring creators or
Dude,
writers.
we get so much out of it too. I mean, we get new books that we probably wouldn't have heard of. I need to start going through Zoop like I go through Kickstarter. I need to build that into my habit. I might have missed this. And, Will and I talk about, we want to try to fertilize as many crowdfunding platforms as we can. We both are on Kickstarter. We both love Kickstarter. But I would rather have a great Kickstarter and a great Zoop and a great crowdfunder and a great backer kit than just have a great Kickstarter. Because who knows who's going to buy Kickstarter, on a whim.
Oh yeah.
A year from now. I think we all know what I'm hinting at. So it's nice to have multiple platforms that are thriving. So, it was also great to know that we had a Zoop campaign to talk about, because it's, I really want Zoop to do well as well. I don't want Zoop to take Kickstarter down. I want Zoop and Kickstarter to do great.
Yeah, because
and backer kit and crowdfunder and
all
exactly.
of them. Exactly, because at the end of the day, it's like the more projects we have that produce great comics from creators that are diverse, that I can share their stories from around the world, the better. So it's cool. It's cool that I think that Soup is like building this community, and they are slowly growing to be like maybe not as big as Kickstarter, but they are putting some great books out there, working with excellent creators. I was really, really excited when I saw my project next to some big creators, campaigns that have done like 10K plus in funding. And yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. And I think that they betting for my campaign as a new creator and putting me in there, and I'm like in Soup, you can see my campaign next to established creators. So that was really exciting.
Melina has an art book going right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best artists.
Did we lose you, Kevin? We may have lost Kevin.
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
But you're right next to one of the best artists of the current generation, and that's got to feel good. And but basically, it's midnight my time. My computer just got tired. I think can you do just a quick 30-second pitch in case someone just came to watch live? We're going to give out the podcast as well for people to listen to. Actually, We've got a quick comment. E. Burnson says, my artist and I have crowdfunded 2 different series. The first is up to issue 13, and the second is up to issue 4, as well as several anthologies. That's
bravo.
That's really cool.
Bravo.
Yeah. That's the dream. Yeah.
13 issues and 4 anthologies. That's about 24, 25 issues of comics. That's incredible. So,
yeah.
Well, on your next one, reach out to Will or I, and we'd love to talk about it. So, we I kind of like these when we just have one creator that we can just deep dive, but I also kind of like it when we've got 4 people and we can learn about a bunch of things too. So reach out when you for your next campaign, and we'll try to talk about it. But okay, so a quick pitch. If you said you can't really get to too many conventions in the States, but let's just say SuperCon here in Miami, they probably are watching this show. They're probably going to email you and send you a first class ticket, give you a booth right next to, I don't know, Adrian Palicki, like you're going to be next to the big stars. So somebody walks past your booth in 30 seconds. How do you get their interest in this comic?
Yeah, I think that the best way is to tell them that this is a book that mixes the fun stuff of superheroes. We have action, we have adventure, we have an epic quest that is done by an aspiring comic book writer that just started his career, but he's going to struggle with mental health issues and the consequences of making a life-changing decision. So this is a very personal book. This will show you like a journey that hopefully will serve as an inspiring or as a cautionary tale for everyone that wants to make a life-changing decision, not only getting into comics, but any type of decision. And hopefully people will read it and enjoy the story, enjoy the fun, but also enjoy thinking about deep stuff. And also, as I wanted to point out, this is a book made by a Peruvian creator, so there's going to be some talks about Latino representation and the Latino approach to mental health. So you will learn about it, and you will see like a human story that is going to be mixed with the fun of superhero comic books.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you, I am excited. I've told some creators kind of in the background, there have been some issues with some costs around me. So I am backing at a much lower price point than I was 3 months ago. But I am certainly grabbing this book because I need to have it on my shelf. I need to read it. So I'm excited. It's very unique and creative, and I can't wait to see what it is going from page 1 to the end. But out of context, it looks fabulous. So
thank you. Yeah, it's going to be so exciting. This is something that I mentioned, and I like to mention this because it's something that I want people to know, that I put everything of me. Like, this is something that addresses like a child's dream. It's not about like the making money of comics. That will come later, but right now this is a pure passion project. This is someone that puts his soul into the page, and hopefully people would see it and recognize it as this type of book, because this book doesn't come they are like rare. It's rare that you see someone exposing that. That's what I wanted it to be my first. But as I told you earlier, I'm not going to do this for every book because that's impossible. It's like you can't talk about life-changing decisions like every 3 months because you don't take this kind of decisions. This is like
unless you're quitting. Unless after your first book you're like F this and you're walking out the door. You can do one book, but it's just 24 pages of you just like
the reboot, the ending adventure. Or the adventure just ended, and that's part 2.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't have too much Spanish that doesn't involve making sure that someone who can't speak English can eat or get drunk. I have what I call restaurant Spanish. I can get you fed. I can get you drink. Cerveza, agua caliente, agua frio, papa fritas, pollo, a hamburger. That's my Spanish. I can get you fed or drunk, one or the other. But we do have a comment that I'm going to put up for you, and I hope it's a compliment. I don't know.
Yeah. No, he's saying that we need more creatives of the Latin American culture for getting the fans in the US. And I'm really excited. It's important to carry your passion in what you are creating. Yeah, thank you so much. I want to answer in English so
Yeah.
you all can understand. But yeah, I'm really excited to show my stories, but also I'm doing everything that I'm doing as kind of thinking what would I love having when I was like a small child, and then growing up, wanting to be a creator, wanting to get into comics. So I wanted to show like that here in Peru, and especially in places that are far from the US, that need to like break into the American industry, and we can't go there like so easily. We have to get visas, we have to travel from far away. So I want to show that there's a lot of creators from around the world that are showing their ideas, want to create stories, and they have different backgrounds, and it's cool to have this type of ideas. And obviously I want to represent my culture, want to represent Latin Americans, and I want to create this type of like representation where it's not only about the Latinos that live in the US, but also from the Latinos around the world, because we're not all the same. So it's important to learn from people from other places. And I think that I'm taking this to the US because I know this is like the main structure of the comic book industry. This is like you need to be, if you want to live of doing comics. And I've been discussing it with Peruvian creators even. There's some Peruvian creators that work for Marvel. So unfortunately, I would love to do comics in my country, but that's almost impossible. So if I want to live of comics, I need to do them in the US. But if I go to do them in the US, I'm not going to lose myself. I'm not going to sell out my culture or my identity. I'm going to go and show myself as I am. And as I said, if you do that, if you're honest, if you're passionate, people will see it and they will learn from you. They will follow you. They will see you. And this book, like I said, this is my debut book. So this is the best way so that people can see me as a creator, as a comic book fan, as a comic book writer, as someone that's been passionate about this and wants to go into the industry and make stuff happen. So I'm really excited.
Well, I don't know if Will and I really get to say this, but just to make sure it's heard, welcome.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you so much.
we are so happy to have you as part of the
Thank you.
community. We are not the people who open the doors or shut them on people, but it's super exciting to have somebody of your passion and
Thank
obvious
you. Thank you so
creativity
much.
making comics. And I'm really glad we got to meet you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you guys for doing this. And it was glad meeting you, because I think here it's not about like who opens the door and who gives you, like we were talking about earlier, like who gives you the title of comic book creator, right? Or
Right.
comic book writer. So I think that if there's people that are interested in my work and they are supporting me and they want to follow me, that's all I want. Like I want people to see my job and see my work and discover the stories that I'm showing. And I'm also excited to collaborate, to talk to people, and yeah, also kind of, so in my short experience, by trying to give back the support that I've gotten from the community, from people on socials, and people that have helped me so much. And I want to encourage that, right? So it's not about me like breaking in. I also want to help other people. Like, yeah, let's go. Yeah.
So you did mention socials, and so where could somebody follow you, and what are you most active on?
Yeah, so right now I'm really active on Twitter. So I'm at, like you see here my handle, it's at OscarOM29. I've been posting a lot about the campaign. I usually post about comics that I like. I try to retweet and talk to creators. And right now I'm more active. I think that like 6 months ago I was kind of a lurker, but right now I've been like gaining some confidence and trying to write people and say like, oh, it's nice, it's cool, right? So because I know that a message can lift you up. So I'm there. I'm also on Instagram, but that's like a more personal aspect of me. And I have a Substack blog. It's oscarwins.substack.com. And there I'm already writing every 2 weeks. And I think that it's a great time to follow me in there, join the community, because as I'm putting out work, I'm also sharing behind the scenes. I'm also sharing uh, the ideas behind the pages, behind what I did in the script, why I made that decision, maybe some tips about why I'm doing the things that I'm doing and the way I am doing them. So I think that's something that I wanted to do. Like for a long time I wanted to share this kind of knowledge to people. And right now that I'm doing a comic book, that I'm doing a campaign, I think that I've gathered some knowledge, especially to creators that are hesitating about publishing their first book, contacting people. How do you work? Do you need an editor? Do you not need an editor? So all that stuff, I think that those were questions that I had a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, and I'm excited to start sharing my experiences, and hopefully, someone like the new creative, like some people from here from Latin America will see the blog and say, "Oh, that's great! He's from Peru, and he's doing it, and maybe I can do it too." And that's awesome. So I'm trying to share as much as I can for people to take this knowledge and use it to make more comics.
And if enough people do, then maybe your statement that you can't do it in Peru won't be true in 10 years or 15 years or
Yeah,
20 years.
hopefully. Yeah, I think that I have plans. I don't want to leave my country and not do anything, like, because I'm going to like representing my country. So now that I'm more into the industry, learning more, talking to creators here as a creator, I want to take like a bigger part into trying to do something here. And I'm promoting my book, and I'm also promoting, as I said, right? So follow me, talk to me, and we can make stuff happen. We can build a community, because I think that we lack a lot of stuff here, but one of the things is that there's not many opportunities for creators. So hopefully I will try to make it big and raise some funds and something, and then come here and try to help creators. Maybe even the language is a barrier for working with the people at the US. Maybe they don't have they are just they don't have the information, something as easy as that. And I think that making a comic book is hard, but it wasn't impossible. And I think that with the right resources, with the right set of mind and the right ideas, we can help, maybe not create like a big industry here, but at least get some of these creators to work for the US. And if enough of us work and get money and build something, then we can create like our own publisher, or I don't know. This is like a long-term dream, but hopefully I can make something for readers here, readers in other places in Latin America, and try to get comics to as much people as possible, because this is about me spreading what I love. I think that if you love something, it's like you can shut up about it. So for me, it's comics, and it has always been comics, and right now it's like writing comics is my way of still talking about comics. So yeah, that's what I want to do.
Well, I want to say goodnight, but I want to reiterate something you just said that I think was amazing. Making a comic was hard, but it was not impossible. And I think that is so, it is so what I think Will and I are trying to say to the people who want to do this. It is hard. It is work. It is not impossible. It is certainly within your ability to make this happen. And I just love that. It was hard, but it's not impossible. So, and I think most stuff is true. Like, you know what? I was never going to blame the NBA. The NBA was probably impossible for me, but most other things in the world, it might be hard, but it's not impossible. So, Oscar, it was fabulous meeting you. Will, always great to talk comics. And I guess just leave it with said goodbye to somebody I barely knew, John Romita, this week, and said hello to Oscar, who starting to get to meet. And we just think I speak for Will. We appreciate you coming on and meeting
Yep.
us.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much to you guys and to people in the chat. I
Yeah.
think that it's great to see the passion in the community, and I'm really excited to just keep growing so I can meet more people, and I'm really happy. I think that even though it's as I'm saying in my book, even though you have like the fears and the anxiety and everything that can go wrong, and I don't know if it's going to go well, but at least I'm doing it. I'm trying to do it, and I'm excited to meet more people and bond over what we loved, which is comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Great to meet you. Good night, everybody.
Yep.
Everybody
Thank
in the
you.
chat, thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye.